Okay, I can't actually get her into the old Daedroth no matter what I try, unfortunately, but I've cleared it out, and so she should be happy, so let's speak to her again. Thank you, the Ahemmesu will be saved. If you wish, I shall now name you Neverarine of the Ahemmesu. So, please name me. So you've made this place safe for the Ahemmesu, so I name you Ahemmesu Neverarine, war leader of the Ahemmesu and protector of the people. I shall give you a madstone of the Ahemmesu, so it should be assigned to all Dunmer that you are the Neverarine. The Ahemmesu should follow you in all things, even until death, until the enemy is defeated, or until you are dead. I can only stay briefly. Soon I must return to the Ahemmesu camp and make preparations to relocate here. Brilliant, so I've received the Madstone of the Ahemmesu, so let's have a look at that. It is something invisible, and it's supposed to give you some characteristics, just like the teeth of the Ursulaki, but they're not particularly good. So that's one of the quests. So let's go on to visit another camp, and I shall see you there. So we're in our next camp. This is the Zainad camp. If you check the map, it is in the middle of these grasslands. So the Ahemmesu camp was up here, the Zainad camp is down here, and there's another camp that you need to go to in the Ashlands, which is the Erebenison camp, as well as so that actually should complete the 4 camps that you need to go and visit. So let's go, and there's the ash camps. We're not allowed in here, otherwise they get angry, so let's just talk to one of the Ashlanders that are out here. Oh, look, an outlander. Are you lost? Did the big bad beast bite you? Need a healer? Or do you need our trader? Neither. I want to speak to the Ashcan.
He is the mightiest champion and greatest Ashcan of all the Ashlander tribes. A very great man. You should talk to him. He is a very curious man, always speaking with traders and travelers about the news of the world. Go ahead. Our great chief does not stand on ceremony. You may enter his yurt if you are clean and courteous.
Okay, so he says I can enter his yurt. Maybe he's tricking me, but who cares? Let's go into this guy's yurt. Hopefully he'll be nice. There he is sleeping.
So, you are the Outlander who claims to fulfill the Neverarine prophecies. You are welcome to our hospitality, Outlander. But you must tell us, how can an Outlander be the Neverarine?
Well, let's just tell you about the Neverarine.
We have heard the rumors. We know you to be the Outlander who claims to fulfill the Neverarine prophecies. But how could an Outlander be the Neverarine? You must admit, that just sounds silly. You seem pleasant enough, and strong and healthy, for an Outlander. But excuse me if I'm not disposed to take your demands seriously.
Let's tell you about the prophecies. By the way, I much prefer them being voiced than to have to read it. I've got to say, it does add a huge element of immersion.
Yes, we know of the prophecies. We know there are many prophecies, all of them mysterious and obscure. Our wise woman, Sonomu Zabimat, has told her chief all about these prophecies, and given her interpretations. A certain day to uncertain parents. The curse of flesh before him flies. In caverns dark, Azura's eye sees, and makes to shine the moon and star. Standard prophet talk. Voices and verses. Very interesting, but true? Who can tell?
Okay, I want to be named Neverarine, so how do I do this? I wonder if I'm wearing the Moon and Star. I am wearing the Moon and Star, so he should surely know. So I want to be declared Neverarine. So let's ask about news.
But we are the mighty Zainad, and such things do not bother us.
And let's go and check. Should I taunt him? One of these tribes I think you've actually got to go ahead and fight, and this might be one of them. So let's taunt him. What? Okay. Let's go and speak to the wise woman then, because he doesn't seem to give us any option to convince him that we are actually in Neverarine. Doesn't seem like he wants to believe it.
Welcome, Outlander.
So we'll go to this carpeted area. Hey! And we'll speak to the wise woman. I am Ahemmesu Neverarine, wise woman of Zainad. Do you come from my services or my counsel? Let's ask about the Ashcan. He's a clever Ashcan. He's not a modest man, very proud and conscious of his rights and honours. It's fortunate for a tribe that heeds the counsel of his modest and loyal wise woman. Okay. Let's ask about counsel. I see. He's got a weakness for expensive outlander clothing. If you bring him a pair of exquisite shoes, he might be better predisposed to you. Is that all we need to give him, a pair of shoes? Let me tell you a secret about my chief. He's got a weakness for shoes. Okay. Right, so we'll go and pick up a pair of shoes, and we'll be back. We're back in the camp, the Zainad camp. We went to Elegans Clothier, who's the only shop that sells exquisite clothing, as I recall, and you can go to this. You can go to them in Tel Mora, which is one of the other Telvanni dwellings, and most northernmost Telvanni dwellings. It's right next to Voss, which is the imperial town that accompanies all the major Dunmer dwellings.
Welcome, Outlander.
So I picked up some shoes and skirt, and exquisite shoes, exquisite shirt, and exquisite skirt. So let's speak to Keshard, and let's try and give him those expensive shoes. Here's some shoes. Thank you.
These remarkable shoes are very fancy. Too fancy for a simple Ashlander like myself, but I thank you very much for the gift. It was very thoughtful.
Right, does that mean that now you're gonna declare me the Neverarine? I can't remember doing this quest, I've got to say.
Yes, we know. Our wise woman. The curse. Voices and verses. Very interesting, but true. Who can tell?
So I've given him shoes, and don't really think that's done too much. So we're going to speak to the wise woman again. Hope she just hasn't sent me off on an errand to find a pair of shoes. So look, I've done what you asked, wise woman. Let's ask about counsel. Okay, that is good advice. However, it doesn't seem as if she's very helpful at all. Because now I've given him the expensive shoes. I'm sure there's a quest where you need to find him a wife. Doesn't seem to be the case here though.
Thank you. It was very thoughtful. We have heard the rumors. We know you to be the Outlander, who claims to fulfill the Neverarine prophecies. But teach us, how could an Outlander be the Neverarine?
See, I bear the moon and star.
Excuse me. Do not think me rude, but seriously, do you believe this story yourself? I mean no offense, but you must admit, you are an Outlander, and completely ignorant of our ways. How could you ever be our war leader? What sensible Ashcan would ever choose you to lead the tribes?
I've got 2 tribes looking after me. Well, look
Very
after.
well. A vampire named Calvario has taken refuge in nearby Nerano ancestral tomb. If you are as worthy as you say you are, it should be a small matter for you to dispose of this vampire. There, you have your task. Now perhaps you would leave me in peace for a bit?
Okay then, that sounds easy enough. So there should be a tomb nearby. Nerano Ancestral Tomb. So checking our map. Let's head over to Nerano Ancestral Tomb and clear out that vampire. There seems to be more tasks than I can recall, because initially I think there was a task where you needed to kill the war leaders of an Ashcan, and there's also one where you need to get a Ashcan married. This might be the one, but I'm not quite sure. This might be a 2-part quest. But we're here to kill off this vampire. Shouldn't be too much of a problem for me. Key to Nerano chest, that would be useful. We're here for the vampire. And this looks like Calvaria. And we'll check the chest. It's got steel right gauntlet and not much else that I find interesting. I'll take the scamp skin. I'll take the wheat. This vampire doesn't even have vampire dust. I don't think we need anything else in here. I guess those two, these are actually supposed to be live vampires, but for some reason they just collapsed and died as soon as I walked in. I'm sure they're supposed to be the vampire's followers. Ah, that's the name of the area we're in. We're in the Grazelands, so kind of a rich area. And you kind of wonder why the Ahemmesu couldn't handle being right in the northeast corner. It's pretty much away from all the nasty ashland creatures. So they're certainly in the safest place out of all the Ashlander tribes, all the major Ashlander tribes. Got to say, there are also some Ashlander tribes that are relatively minor, and they are either unfriendly to you, or they. Oh, let's just go and speak to Kolshag.
Outlander.
Put away our weapons. I've killed Calvaria.
Dead. Well then, perhaps I was mistaken. Perhaps you should be the Neverarine.
Yeah, I am. So declare it.
Well, so you killed the vampire Calvario. Well, I will be happy to acknowledge your Zainad Neverarine, but it is customary for one seeking an honor from the Ashcan to offer the Ashcan a generous gift as a mark of respect. Because you are an outlander and do not know our customs, I will do you the great favor of naming the gift I wish to receive. A high-born Telvanni bride. A pretty one, plump, with big hips, to bring me many sons. Where will you find a high-born Telvanni bride? That is simple. You should visit high-born Telvanni lords and inform them that Ashcan Kushard of the lordly Zainab would do them the honor of making their daughter his bride. Surely many Telvanni lords would be honored to receive such an offer. Consider carefully the many daughters offered and choose for me the finest. Take counsel with my wise woman, Sonomu Zabanat. She knows my mind well in such matters.
Okay, so that's a bit of an impossible task because he's considered a barbarian scum by pretty much all the Telvanni. So the likelihood of that happening is virtually nil. So we'll talk to Sonomu Zabamat about the wife. Kashod wants a Telvanni bride. No highborn Telvanni would wed an Ashlander, but I have a plan. Go to my friend Savil Iman, slave mistress of the festival slave market in Telerun. Tell her you need a pretty Dunmer slave to pose as a Telvanni lady. Savil Iman will tell you what clothes to buy and will dress her like a high-born Telvanni. Then escort the slave back and he won't know the difference. Right. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do then. So we need to go to Telerun. Okay. So I shall see you in Telerun. So this is Telerun, one of the Telvanni towers, and these towers are all very much the same. They are grown from giant mushroom trees. There are quite a few of them, just like Telvos, and they are all Telvanni owned. So we can get, you can basically go. Let's go through the underground and see if we can get anywhere. This is basically a opening deep inside the hill, or I guess it's the roots of Telerun, and you can use this to navigate your way to the slave market. There are lots of people hanging around here. There's Bald Orc, for instance, and there are some slaves down here. And this is one of the main slave trading areas. For some reason, most of the slave trading has taken place in this small town,